Live for episode 138 of the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brandon Capozziello, and back with me again is Mr. Romaine Davis, FLB, and we are here to discuss not breaking news, but very new news. James Harden is now officially a Los Angeles Clipper. He is no longer with the Philadelphia 76ers. He is now in La La Land where he wanted to be. A new place he wanted to be for about the fourth time in his damn career.
Oh,
We're, we're,
you know what? I'm gonna be the James Harden defender today because
we will,
not too much,
we will,
not
we
too
will,
much,
we
not too
will, we
much.
will. We're gonna get into it, but first, before we got into that, we're gonna get into where the Clippers, where do the Clippers go in the Western Conference hierarchy now with James Harden on their team? Where do the 76ers go in the East? Romaine, he already had very low hopes for him. I could only imagine it's probably gone even, more down.
I'm not gonna lie, Tyrese Maxey has made me a little bit of a believer.
Oh, a little Tyrese Maxey guy now. Okay, and we're obviously going to talk about James Harden and what he can do for the Los Angeles Clippers. But before we get into all that, please, if you are watching this video, give us a like, thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, please. I'm begging everybody that if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe right now. Okay, we are on subscriber 666, and I don't like the bad juju, so please just click the subscribe button. I beg of you. It doesn't even matter, right? Just click it because you want to save people and you're a good person. Okay, and share the content with your friends and family. And comment along with us and tell us your thoughts about the James Harden news. What do you think about the Clippers? What do you think about the 76ers? What do you think about James Harden? And and I'd be remiss if I didn't add happy Halloween to everybody out there who goes and gets their candy and whatnot. Those days are over for me and Romaine. We're just chilling now. But have a happy Halloween and then all that fun stuff. But now let's click the links in the description. Subscribe to my subscribe. Follow. They always like subscribe on YouTube. We got follow on the social medias. Follow us on social medias. The Wise Guys stuff. My personals. Romaine stuff. Go subscribe to Romaine's YouTube channel. All the links are in the description as usual. But now that we've got all that out of the way, let us get to the reason why we are gathered here today. James Harden is now a Clipper. Let me read you the trade details, and then we can dive right into it. So the Los Angeles Clippers receive James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philippe Petrusev. I didn't see him in the original tweet, but apparently he is, I guess that's money situation. And the 76ers receive Marcus Morris, really like Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, really like Robert Covington too, Nicholas Batum, solid player, Kenyon Martin Jr., I was actually really excited for him to be on the Clippers, young up-and-coming player who maybe could take another step forward.
Now
But
gone.
now he's on the Sixers. First-round pick 2026 via the OKC Thunder. A first-round pick from 2028. I'm guessing that's going to be a Clippers pick. A 2029 pick swap and 2024 and 2029 second-round picks. Now, I say all that to you, Romaine. I guess
That's
let's
a lot
dive
more than I
into
thought they'd have to give up.
Yeah, let's dive into the Clippers side of things, right? You want to do that first?
Yeah, they're the ones that benefit, I think, from this most.
So what do you just change anything? I know we talked I think it was a week ago. I'm pretty sure it was last week, and you said I would consider if they got James Harden, it might move me.
And I'm considering I'm considering their top five top five on ball creator in the game right now, or was. I don't know where you'd have him right now, but he's still very much up there. And you pair him with two of the best on and off ball wings in the game right now is going to make life a lot easier for both Kawhi and PG, and is going to help them at least rest a couple. I know PG and Kawhi doesn't care about the regular season accolades anymore. They're not. If they have to go below the 65 games, they'll do it as long as they're healthy for the playoffs. And James can be the guy that helps keep this offense afloat. They didn't have to give up Norm. They didn't have to give up any other core guys. Oh, except for if you consider Batum a core guy, but they didn't really have to give up anything crazy.
Morris has been a core guy for them. He's just been there for probably the longest tenure,
and he hasn't even been playing like that.
Yeah.
Then so that's great. But then this also begs the question of what does this do with Russ now? Like he now becomes even more off ball. And that was the first problem back in LA. But at the same time, this team has a lot better shooters than LA did. So I think Russ or even James Harden playing off closeouts and playing playing off doubles, playing 3-on-4, going downhill. I think that can be. I think what people expected from Russ on the Lakers is what they're going to get on the Clippers right now, since they have at least a better core on them, better shooters and better players and players that can really play off ball. And the second best shooter on the court is LeBron James next to him constantly. So I don't think that's gonna be too much of a problem, but I understand why people are a little bit skeptical because him and James didn't really work in Houston. But then again, they did. Russ had the most efficiency in his career. He just got hurt, and then the bubble happened, and then he wasn't healthy and all that. But at the end of the day, the Clippers keep clippering. Going ahead and get the disgruntled star, disgruntled player that you think is the next piece. They've been looking for a playmaker for a while, and they finally got one. But at the end of the day, it feels like it's starting to feel like a retirement home over there. Like, and at some point, I'm just like, one, I don't think both Kawhi and PGs are really at the same level, especially from when they first came here. They're not. The injuries are piled up on the body. They're just really not moving the same. They're not the same players. So obviously getting James would help that. But at the same time, does it help them compete against some of the upper echelons? It brings them closer now to basically being, I think, neck and neck with LA all over, with the Lakers all over again. But do you consider them better than the Suns or the Nuggets?
No.
I don't know if you can keep them up.
Yeah, no. The Nuggets obviously not. The Nuggets are. I think we've discussed it at nauseum. They're in the class. Even though I picked the Clippers, 2 weeks ago to go to the championship and win the champ, but I can admit that's kind of just me.
I think they're in that little
thinking. But
I think they're in that third. Obviously, I think the Nuggets are in their own tier.
Yeah, they're in their own tier. They're in class. Yep. Proven.
And I think now the Clippers are in the mix with the Lakers, Golden State, and Lakers, Golden State, and Phoenix right now in that little mix. Because
guess what that is? That's the big four that Brandon was talking about all off season. The big four.
You were talking about this Clipper team. You were talking about the Clipper team.
I talked about that big four of those four teams right there, and I was talking about the Clippers. But I'm very high on the Clippers now. In terms of, I would push back a little bit on PG and Kawhi. I understand maybe not the same in terms of their athleticism and stuff like that, but in terms of player, I still think last time I saw Kawhi, he was arguably top 3 player in the entire world. And I know it was 1.5 or 2 games in the playoffs, but those were hella performances that he put up. Paul George, I think he's still a top 20 player when healthy. He's he's a 25.
There could be some debates. There could be some debates there. But I guess, he's in that mix. He's in that mix. Yeah.
And I understand why there could be debate now because he is like we're talking about ad nauseum, the injuries, and he has not been able to show it as much as say like a John Morant or something like that who's been healthy and shown up. But
the last time we saw him healthy with some pressure, he brought them to the Western Conference Finals. So
exactly, so Paul George, at his best, we know is a top 20 player. I think at his best, top 20 is easy. Top 15, possibly you're edging right there. He's a two-way player. He's one of the best two-way players at his peak. He's a guy who can give you 25, 27 on any given night, to be honest with you, and high-level defense. So that's why I've always loved this team. You got the Paul George, and he plays his perfect role as a Robin, and you got Kawhi, who is that true Batman who we've seen. I know you can bring up the injuries that he went through when he in Toronto, but if we're going to be honest, it was one superstar and then all-stars after that. There was no star or other superstar on that Toronto Raptors team. Name me another guy name me the last time a guy has done that without another superstar next to him.
Dirk.
Yeah.
Steph.
So it's been a while.
Steph, actually. Draymond or Claire are not superstars.
Okay. But that didn't happen yet. That hadn't happened yet when Toronto won. That hadn't happened yet because he had KD before that, except for the one back in the first one in 2015. Did I lose you, Romaine? You went blank on me there. Yep, you went blank. You went blank for a second after I finished up. Yeah. After I said 2015, you went blank, so I didn't catch what you said.
I was gonna say,
I was like, 2015.
I would say, 2015
okay.
Cleveland.
That's fair. I forgot about that one. I forgot. Yeah. Because that's a fair point. And you could bring up the 2014 with the San Antonio Spurs where they really didn't actually have. But those teams again were like well-oiled machines. Like the the offense they're putting out was just so high level.
Toronto was
They
was well oiled when 59 games with DeMar DeRozan, and then they took DeMar DeRozan off and then added and put Kawhi Leonard in his place.
Yeah.
Trust me.
But yeah, and there's levels, so that's why they were the baby dinosaurs, and then they were the world champions with Kawhi. But what I'm getting to, my whole point was I was very high on this Los Angeles Clippers team because of those two guys, and because of the guys that they had on their team, and actually because of 3 players they did trade away: Marcus Morris Sr., Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, and like I mentioned, also Kenyon Martin Jr., who actually had a pretty good game a couple nights ago against the Spurs. Bones Highland had a pretty good game.
That's the crazy part too. Wing depth was a very, very big positive. It was a very big plus for them, and now it's just become pretty shallow.
Paul George, Kawhi, Powell, kind of.
Powell's a 2.
Yeah, that's why I said. But he's a little bit stockier, so I mean, yeah, I guess so. It's basically Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah, the wing depth used to be a positive for them. Now it's really not.
Point of attack worry anymore because, dude, 3 and Ds. That's how you win in this league. If you got 3 and Ds, you're winning in this league.
The problem with them though is that they had all the 3 and D, but they didn't have a guy that could pass to the 3-point shooters. They didn't have a playmaker. But
go ahead.
With James Harden, that would bring in James Harden now. Not only do you have a playmaker that makes it easier on the superstars on the roster, but at the end of the day, you still have Norm. You still have Terrence Mann on this roster. You still have Terrence Mann on the roster. Bones Highland. Who else is in their mix? I haven't seen too many of the games. I don't know who's in their rotation this year.
Well, so they obviously the Zubac. You got Russ. You got
I was talking about in terms of like shooters around.
Oh, Powell. Coffee.
Yeah,
Coffee got 6 minutes. He's not. Yeah, Bones Highland, Powell,
Terrence Mann.
He didn't even play against the Spurs. So there's not many. So now
you lost a good amount of shooting too. So I do think that bench is probably going to be a little bit shallow.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, not gonna lie, if that's the case, I would say put James at the 1, moves Terrence Mann up to the 2, and bring Russ off the bench so he can lead his own unit. Have him and Powell coming off the bench, and keep one of Kawhi or Paul George in with him at all times, so he has 2 good shooters around him at all times, with a big man that can crash the offensive glass and can catch a lob here and there with either Mason Plumlee or Zubats up there. I think they have plenty of ways to make this to optimize this roster what they have right now.
Yeah,
but it's just that a team that's dealt the biggest problem for this team has been health, and now they literally cannot afford a single injury.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think that they went and got a James Harden too. I think that they were thinking that our biggest setback for the past couple of years has been Kawhi and Paul George not being healthy when it's ready to go, either or both of them. And now we're just kind of pushing all our chips to the middle of the table and saying we got Russ, we got James, we got Paul George, we got Kawhi. Odds are hopefully at least 2 of them are going to be there in the playoffs, right? Out of those 4 names. And that's what I think that they're banking on now. And that they got, James Harden to be that playmaker, even though I thought Russ could be that guy. And I don't know. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo still, Romaine.
Again?
Yeah. But I'm hoping because I thought Russ was going to be that guy. Like that's why you got Russ, the ball dominant point guard who can play make. I know James is a better playmaker than, but like Russ ain't like there's nothing to sneeze at. He can give you 7.5, 8.5 assists, something like that. I know he's going to turn the ball. I mean, these are 2 guys. I saw that. I heard this stat, Romaine. Russell Westbrook and James Harden in the last 7 years are number 1 and number 2 in total turnovers in the last 7 years. So you got those 2 guys as your basically point guards. And you brought up a point of Russ coming off the bench. We know how that worked out in the other LA, and it didn't work out very well. Russ didn't like it. It didn't fit with him, and that was kind of like scrapped pretty quickly. Is he going to like this? Is he going to accept this role? I'm hearing people say, oh, it's about the approach. Darvin didn't approach Russ the right way. Tyler's going to approach Russ the right way. I don't know about that. I wasn't there. So I just don't understand. That's why I'm saying to this move, I don't understand the move. I don't get it, right? Because you traded away 4 3-and-D type players. Kenyon Martin Jr., not really a 3-and-D, but a young guy who can, play some defense and score the ball. You get rid of those guys and you trade away basically every other draft, capital you had left, which was not much anyway. And you get James Harden, and I know we're not mentioning PJ Tucker, who actually was kind of like the steal of this trade package. I'm surprised they even got him. But you go out just to get James Harden. Now you got James and Russ, two ball dominant guys that it didn't work out in Houston, and I don't see how it's going to work out here again when they're now older and less of what they were back in Houston. I just don't see how this works out, if I got to really be honest with you. I really am. I kind of see a fuzzy vision of how it could work out, right? I do see that, but I don't see the clear picture that everybody else sees of this guy is going to change life for the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't see. I thought Russ was the guy that they got to be the point guard. I don't know why you get James now and mix that. I got you. You were muted.
Let's not forget.
You're good.
Oh, let's not forget that I think before the season ended, before the regular season ended, before Russ's injury, I'm pretty sure Houston was on pace to be a 55 to 60 win team with both of them. It's not that it didn't work. It's that the bubble screwed up a lot of things for a lot of teams. Let's be real here. Screwed up a lot of things for the Clippers. They don't want to be there. Russ got hurt around the time when the season was coming back. They were out of their groove. James is not in the best shape. But in the regular season, it was working for them. So I think bringing them on a team, so it's not like it imploded on itself, and they just didn't work together. Well,
I mean, it did implode. It did implode towards at the end, like the bitter end. When
but I feel
that I want out.
Yeah, that's one. Two. Wait, that's what happened? I thought they just traded him, but either way.
No, he wanted out. I mean, the reports and rumors were that he said, I want to, this isn't working. I want to go back to being like the primary point guard. And then I think there were also reports about James and Russ getting into a little bit disgruntledness, but that you take that for whatever you want to take that for. I know.
Well, the play on the court before then was great.
Yeah. James is always, even though there's been, him and Dwight, I guess, kind of like, when every star he's left kind of, I don't know, I guess left with a sour taste. Maybe they're still cool to this day, but I think at the time they left a sour taste. I mean, Dwight, he wanted Dwight out. Chris, he wanted Chris out. Russ, he wanted Russ out. Then he went to Brooklyn. Then he said,
he didn't like Kai there.
And then he said, I'm out. And now he goes to Philly that he doesn't get along with fucking Doc Rivers. And it's like, dude, at the end of the day, people, at the end of the day, James Harden apologists, you got to start looking at the common denominator here of it's been James Harden. Like, you can make all the excuses and try and add all this context that you want, which is cool. But at the end of the day, you'll lose those arguments anyway, because it's always just been James. It truly has. And that's all I'm trying to get across. Like, that's it. It's always been James. He said, except for the OKC. OKC was stupid to not pay the luxury tax and then lose out on that big three, right? That was their dumb mistake, right? Then he goes to Houston with Dwight Howard, right? I was at that time, I was like, yo, this team, I feel like this team could win a championship. I was big into James. I was like, James is going to be this guy with Dwight. I love Dwight. I love that duo right there. It didn't work out at the end of the day. James blew it against Portland in Dame's second year. He played like shit. He was arguably the fourth best player on the entire court behind a second-year Damian Lillard, a LaMarcus Aldridge, and a Dwight Howard. Go look at the numbers, all right? Then he says, Dwight, you're not working with me. I need Dwight to get out of here, right? Dwight, you got to go. All right, Dwight's gone. They acquiesce. I think they play a year without Chris, or Chris comes in right after that. I'm getting foggy on that. Then then they go get Chris Paul.
Wait, no. It was a couple years after that.
It was a couple years. It was two maybe.
Yeah, because the D'Antoni phase. So James is the only superstar there, and he's just racking up insane numbers.
Okay, so yeah, that's where I get a little foggy. So 2 years in between. Then Chris comes in, right? Then everybody's like, oh, this, I like this. Well, at first people were like, this could be a little shaky, two ball dominant guys, right? But then they make it work, and they get Game 7 Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors, 3-3 in Houston. And guess what? Chris Paul's down. Yeah, sure. But guess what happens? They have a lead at halftime, and they have the worst shooting performance in NBA history. And James Harden does another no-show like he does every time in the damn big moments of the playoffs. All right. Then they go, I think, another year with Chris Paul, if I'm not mistaken, and then they don't really do it. They can't recreate the magic. And then James basically, rumors and reports are James wants
It's
Chris
not that they
out.
couldn't recreate it. Chris was just hurt all the time. Like he
It
wasn't
was, it
healthy at
was,
all.
and then he basically wanted Chris out. They got rid of Chris. Bring me Russ. Let's rekindle this OKC. Shit. We're getting Russ back. And like Romaine said, it looked like it was good. They're playing well. The bubble happens. It sucks for a lot of the teams that had to go through that and stuff. And then towards the bitter end of the Russ and Harden Houston days, he said, Russ said, I want out. And there was reports that they got disgruntled. Then he goes to freaking Brooklyn. All right. Says, get me out of Houston. I don't want to, shows up overweight, goes to Brooklyn with Kyrie, says, I want to be in Brooklyn. I want to be in Brooklyn. Send me to Brooklyn. Okay, we'll say Brooklyn. We'll say Brooklyn. You go with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. And then not even a year and a half later, he's saying, get me the hell out of Brooklyn. I can't handle it with Kyrie. I can't do this anymore. I want out of Brooklyn. All right, where do you want to go, James? I want to go to Philadelphia. All right, we'll say Philadelphia. Go to Philadelphia with Embiid. All right, I'm in Philadelphia now. And then 2 years together in Philly? Get rid of Doc Rivers. It's Doc Rivers. I don't fuck with Doc anymore. Blah blah blah. Get rid of Doc. And now it's like, get me out of Philadelphia.
It was a year and a half. 1 and 2. Are we gonna sit here and act like Doc Rivers is a good coach?
He is a good coach. He's a good coach. I mean, you don't rack up those career wins like that and just fall into being a good coach.
I'll give you this. Doc Rivers is the greatest overachieving coach of all time. In a sense, when he doesn't have a team that you don't think has the required talent to really compete, he's great at rallying those guys. But when you give him top tier talent, he is not a great coach. The one time he was successful, he had the by far best team in the league, and they still almost lost to Kobe and Powell.
I truly think. That's Kobe though. I think Doc. I mean, he was ranked in the top 15 head coaches in NBA history. So he's going to get in the Hall of Fame for whatever that counts. I know the Basketball Hall of Fame is pretty whack, to be honest with you, but I mean, he's got top 10 in career wins. So I think Doc is. I know he's got the blown 3-1s and leads all of that. So that kind of defeats it. And he hasn't won since 2008, but I think he's a good coach. I do think Doc's a good coach. But my point is, at the end of the day, Romaine, is that James Harden. Okay, so
to be fair, on the Doc thing too is like it wasn't just that God didn't get along with James Harden. He didn't get along with Ben. He didn't get along with Chris. He didn't get along with Chris in LA.
Yeah. Well, I think that more had to maybe do with because.
Okay, see now look who's making excuses.
No, I think I had to do with Austin. I mean, notoriously Chris Paul and Austin did not get along. Notoriously.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, at the end of the day, look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because look, I have some feelings about James Harden myself, but I will give him the little bail of a lot of these situations. You can see where he's coming from when he does get pissed or when things just don't work out for him. You can see where he's coming from. Okay, see, that's a wash. They traded him. They shouldn't have done it. They're stupid. With Dwight was on the decline. Dwight still had that ego where he always wanted touches in the post and he wasn't producing from down there. And when he got in the playoffs, even though James is notoriously done, which is a big red flag on him, is when he doesn't like a situation, he will tank the team to force them to do something. Because he's normally the best player on the squad, and you don't want to trade him, so he will tank his performance and force you to do something. And I feel like Josh Smith was on I think Club 320 podcast, the Jeff Teague podcast, and he was talking about that year with them where they came back 3-1 against the Clippers and then they got washed, right? He said himself that in that game when they were coming back, James was on the bench, and as the game was getting closer, they could see the owners in the stands telling Kevin McHale, put James back in, put James, as in we can't have our $1 million player not be in these closing moments of a playoff game. Obviously, Kevin McHale doesn't listen because what's going well is going well. Jason Terry, Josh Smith, all those guys, bring them back. They win that game, and then James Harden I think drops 37 in Game 7, puts the series away. So it is what it is. And then James and Mikhail has a little falling out because obviously you don't want to put me back in these type of games, all that stuff. Mikhail got to go. And you can see where both sides come from that. Mikhail had something good going on here. Why would I ruin that? And James is, I'm the superstar of this team. Why can't I be in these closing moments? I think I've played well enough that even if I'm having a rough game, I deserve a little bit of trust to be able to perform in these moments. And I think Mikhail just didn't trust him to perform in those moments.
Yeah. Well,
So Mikhail's out, D'Antoni in.
Mm-hmm.
James has those years of amazing numbers. Obviously, you don't have the time to consistently compete. Losing to Golden State. And then losing the Golden State and then San Antonio. The San Antonio one in Game 6 was absolutely awful because I don't even think Kawhi was playing, and Houston just and
Kawhi
James and Manu. I think Manu wasn't playing either.
Tony wasn't.
Oh yeah, and he just fell apart in
Game
that
6?
game. Yes, he just fell
Game
apart.
6. This was Game 6. James Harden, 10 points, 6 turnovers, 2 for 11 from the field, 2 for 9 from 3. Points and field goals made tied season lows. His worst plus minus was a season.
What was the score of the game?
I don't have that in front of me.
Oh well, I think they won that game. Spurs won that game by quite handily. I think 20 plus. And Pop even in the conference in the press conference is like, it's not that we even played that great. They just played really, really bad.
Yeah.
And again, that's one of his disappearing acts. But you go in, you realize you need to bring somebody else with him. You get Chris Paul, put a good team together, and yes, collapse. 27 straight missed threes. But you're not gonna tell me when we know that the greatest team of all time, the team that came be closest to putting them down, didn't have part of the reason why people consider him one of the best, and the team collapsed. I'm sorry, I can't put all of that on James. Yes, he's part of the collapse of the 27 missed threes, but at the end of the day, you were this close and injury screwed you, because if you had Chris Paul in that game, that would not have happened.
100%. Because Chris Paul was the actual catalyst of that team, like he usually
Not even that. Chris Paul, both of them. Chris Paul is just a notoriously great point guard. You put him next to a player like James Harden, that's a notoriously great scorer. Things work.
Chris Paul is better than James Harden.
All time, we can have that conversation.
It don't matter. I'll take Chris
Paul. At that very moment, I would say
Chris Paul.
I wouldn't say that.
I mean, all right.
But fall apart next year. Chris Paul is consistently injured. You go against Golden State again, and this is where it looks bad. They don't have KD. Chris Paul is still playing in the series, and Steph whoops y'all ass.
Yeah,
that's where it looks kind of bad right there. Him and Chris Paul have the falling out. Chris Paul obviously gets traded to OKC. Russ is here. Have a great regular season. Traded away every single big on the roster to go super small to maximize the spacing. Works great. Offense looks good. Then the bubble happens. Going to the playoff. Russ is hurt. James plays almost the entire OKC series without Russ. Finds a way to beat them, even though he played like shit in thinking Game 7 or Game 6. Game 7 or Game 6, and Lou Dort went crazy. Well, you find a way to win that game.
That was the OKC series, yeah.
Yeah, and then
by just refresh my memory. Who was the lead guy on that OKC?
Oh my God, yes, Chris Paul.
Yeah, were they supposed to be in the playoffs?
They weren't supposed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. It went to Game 7 too, right?
Yes, without Russ.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, the team's not supposed to be in the playoffs. Chris Paul.
You didn't have the second best play, and they still ended up winning. What are we doing?
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, whatever.
They got swept.
The Russ situation, cool. That shit blew up. Russ obviously didn't want to be there. Goes to Washington. James has another year, and he's just like, I don't like it here. They don't want to trade him. He goes in regular season, out of shape. Basically, forces to trade him. Goes to Brooklyn. Yep. Let's not act stupid here. If that team stayed healthy, they're fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting demolished, and they okay. The Clippers didn't even make it either. So what are we doing? But at the end of the day, they weren't healthy. James hurt his hamstring. Kyrie the ankle. KD had to go supernova. Wasn't enough. And the next year comes around. Kyrie's on his whole sabbatical. James obviously doesn't like it, and you can understand why. You're here to win a championship, and one of your star players here isn't consistently on the court. Yeah, so you can understand why he gets pissed and like, you know what, I want to be out of here. Goes to Philly the first year, didn't work out. Obviously, people, I'm not gonna write you off because the first year of two superstars being together doesn't work out. It is what it is. James played bad, Embiid played bad. Coming in next year, y'all play great in the regular season, get to the playoffs, have a very good first round, and then you get to the conference finals, and second round, and you wet the bed in out of the game 7. To be fair to James, he had he had one good game, 2 amazing games in that series.
But when it counted, where was he?
Okay, yes,
Like when it mattered, like when it
he was bad. He was bad. He was bad. He was bad.
He wasn't
He was
just
bad.
bad. He is literally, I'm not even kidding. He is arguably the worst playoff performer in NBA history. I'm not even kidding.
David Robinson exists. Karl Malone exists.
Karl Malone got to an NBA final. He got to 2 NBA finals. Okay. All I'm saying is pull up the numbers. Pull up the numbers. James Harden, I got the numbers here too in front of me of James Harden's absolute collapse. I said arguably. I didn't say worse. I said he's arguably the worst playoff performer in
Part
NBA.
of the reason why Karl Malone has always gotten to 2 NBA finals is simply because of the fact that for some reason, they always were healthy. They could never get fucking hurt.
Well,
James Harden has never had that luck. The injuries always seem to freaking pop up. And
but again, at the end of the day, and you went through the context very well. I applaud you for that, Romaine. But at the end of the day, like I said, context or not, you've got to look at common denominator. He always seems to find himself in shitty situations.
Okay, but look at it this way. If we use that same logic for somebody else, right? A guy that's constantly been demonized by his teams. Mm-hmm. People say that he's not worth the money, not worth the drama. Yeah. But then he goes to a situation that's great for him, and he goes to two NBA finals. That's Jimmy fucking Butler. We were having these same conversations when Jimmy left Philly. Everybody was looking at Jimmy as the guy, the locker room cancer, can't get along with his coaches, can't get along with anybody, thinks he's better than he actually is. But then he gets in a situation that's right for him. Yes, I understand James has had a lot of situations, and he's handpicked the situations he wanted to be in.
No, not even that. Not even that. Nobody ever questioned Jimmy Butler's drive to win.
Has there people been questioning James Harden?
I mean, I don't know, man. You're in the club before a big game or something. You're doing stuff we're not.
When did that happen?
That's all I'm saying.
He's regular season, yes. Regular season, he's in the clubs and stuff. But when have you seen him do stuff like that in the playoffs when it matters most? When he needs to perform, we've never seen him do that.
Why was he playing shitty in Miami last year in the playoffs?
He wasn't healthy. He was fat.
Whose fault was that?
His, yes, I know, but we talked about him being out of shape. It is what it is. He's in shape now.
Well, I mean, yeah, he looks in better shape. I'll give him that. He looks in better shape. He does look
exactly, but he was out of shape. He played bad. It is what it is. But I'm just saying, you can see where he's coming from in these. Especially in Philly. In Philly, you were up for an extension. You could have gotten your max money because people still had high value of you. You're like, no, I'm gonna stay back on a little bit of the money. Give me my extension. I'll stay back. You go get guys that can help us win a championship. Philly does that, and looks like they have an under-table discussion that, hey, you'll get your money next season. He plays worth that money in the regular season. He plays it. Playoff comes around. He doesn't play like that, obviously, against Boston. Daryl Morey doesn't want to give him the money. I think James has all right to feel like he got swindled because we had an agreement here, and you're walking back on it. And I feel Daryl Morey has a pretty good reason of not wanting to give him the money because you're not worth the money as of right now, the way I'm seeing, and you're only going to get worse as your career goes along anymore at this point, which is cool on both sides. He wants to leave. He gets to leave. He's on the Clippers now. I'm not going to say this is the moment, like this is his last chance, because I'm a little bit out on him too. But you got to give a little bit of context and realize that not all of these are one, like black and white, always on James. Is what I'm saying. And you can understand how these situations crumble. In a situation like this, I feel like it's even though he wanted to go here, which is a part of the problem. He always handpicks the places he wants to go, and they don't freaking work out because he's dumb. But this feels like you're setting him up to fail again because you're putting him on a team with 2 injury-prone forwards that the moment either of them go down, this team championship hope is out the window. Let's be honest here. Exactly. You put him on.
James Harden thinks that he's that dude, so they shouldn't be out the window.
Okay, but we're talking reality here. Okay, cool.
If we're talking,
as of right now, it's not 2018 anymore. It is 2023. Going to be 2024 if you make the playoffs. He's not that guy anymore. It is what it is. But I feel like this is a situation where you're being set up to fail.
Yeah.
You're being set up to fail.
So to wrap it all up in terms of the Clippers point, let's just do a quick yes or no, Romaine. Actually, hold on. Give me
Do I believe it? Do I believe in him?
No. Give me a no. I'm gonna name. I should have had this teed up. That was really bad by me. Okay. Romaine? Are the Los Angeles Clippers better than the Memphis Grizzlies?
A healthy Memphis Grizzlies? Yes.
Yeah, both teams are healthy. Obviously, well, both teams are healthy. Are the Los Angeles Clippers better than the Minnesota Timberwolves?
Well, you know how I feel about the Timberwolves, but for this sake, no.
No,
I don't think they're in that. I know the mix the Clippers are in, and I don't think Minnesota's in that mix. Yeah.
So you mean?
I think they'll get to that mix, but I don't think they're in that mix as of right now. So yes, I think the Clippers are better.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you think the Clippers are better? Are the Los Angeles Clippers better than the Pelicans, fully healthy?
Yes.
Are the Los Angeles Clippers better than the Kings, fully healthy?
De'Aaron has been really good this season so far. I'm gonna go.
So is Kawhi.
Gun to my head, I'm gonna go. Yes, the Clippers are better.
Are the Los Angeles Clippers fully healthy better than the Oklahoma City Thunder?
Yes.
Are they better than the Dallas Mavericks?
Yes.
All right, now let's get to the biggie boys. Are the Los Angeles Clippers fully healthy better than the Golden State Warriors? They play in a playoff series. Who are you picking to come out?
The problem, it's not even saying that they're better. Is that if they play up in a match, the matchup just sucks because you don't have anybody to guard Steph. Like Russ is gonna run around screens, but you don't want Russ who's that undisciplined guarding Steph. James is not gonna be running around screens guarding Steph. PG and Kawhi aren't at that point in their career where they're gonna be doing that either. So it's really really tough. The matchup sucks.
PJ
And Golden State has the wing defenders to disrupt with both Dre and Andrew Wiggins to guard both Kawhi and PG. I'm a gun to my head. No, they're not.
No? Okay. Are the Los Angeles Clippers fully healthy better than the Suns?
No.
And finally, are the Los Angeles Clippers fully healthy better than the other LA team, the Lakers? It's obviously the matchup everybody wants to see.
The problem with LA is that their coach got CTE, bro. Like,
I like Harden, but I don't know.
I don't. Like, his rotations are absolutely awful.
Yeah. But he's tough-minded.
Talent-wise, damn. Talent-wise, the Lakers are better. But because of Darvin, that brings them down a lot. I'm going to say the Clippers got it. Simply because
Oh, we lost you there for a second, Romaine. You said simply because.
Simply because they got a better coach.
Okay, so you're taking the Clippers.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha. So the Clippers are, they're in that top four, and they're obviously not better than the Denver Nuggets. But I will see. Just to wrap it up, I obviously am not high on it. I don't get it. Like I said, I can see a blurry.
I feel like he's being set up to. I feel like he's being set. The media and all people. He's being set up to fail here.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to
he's
see.
going to do it to himself again, so I'm not going to hear that. But
that is also the problem. Yes.
I see a blurry picture of what everybody else sees. I just don't see it fully clear HD 4K yet. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how they play together. Let's see how it works. Let's just see how that whole thing works out in the drama of the Clippers. I know it's going to be headlining news almost on a weekly basis, so I can tell you that much. All right, let's get on to the other side of things, the Philadelphia 76ers. Romaine, we're low on them coming into the season. What are they, the shits now? Like,
after watching them these last couple games, I think they're 2-1 right now or something like that.
2-1, yeah.
Yeah, they're 2-1 right now.
They've beaten.
Yeah, the teams they beat isn't been anything crazy.
But they only lost by 1 point to the Bucks. Go ahead.
That's also true. But also the Bucks have no wing defenders, and they let Kelly Oubre and Tobias Harris go fucking nuts. A lot of people aren't gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
But I really like Embiid so far. It sounds crazy, but he's been I think part of the reason is because James Harden is so good at scrambling a defense and getting Embiid into open space. The thing with Embiid, though, is when he's in open space and the defense is scrambling, he was prone to making bad decisions. But now that the offense is running through him again and he's playmaking from the post and he's the one scrambling the defense and making those decisions, he's been a plus passer. And Tyrese Maxey has been not lights out so far this season. Tobias is looking like he's enjoying his role as the primary as a primary scorer.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it, Tobias? Huh? It feels good finally.
I do think now that James Harden's gone, they can stop playing freaking PJ Tucker. Well, PJ Tucker's gone, but
yeah, PJ's gone now. He's on the Clips.
But they can. But I think PJ. I think Doc and both Nick Nurse's lack of competent offensive scheming, like Spo, where he's able to move PJ, put him in the right spots, and at least utilize him to his maximum potential offensively. I do think it's good that they have that off there, and now they have somebody that can really fit in the mix. They still have a decent bench with Anthony Melton, Paul Reed.
They got they got the four guys coming in, and Batum, Morris.
Yeah, I think that too. They get really deep at the wing positions. You get a lot of 3-and-D guys here, but they lose a primary playmaker.
More responsibility for Maxey now.
I think if anything, this is. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is the perfect team to go to Portland and ask them for Malcolm Brogdon too. But if you're trying to maximize Embiid as much as possible for the rest of this season, I think that's the best move to make. But I like what I'm seeing from Embiid, but at the same time, I feel like either the injuries or mid-season corrections are going to happen. Tobias is going to go back to being mid. Tyrese Maxey is going to go back to, the mean. He's better than last season, obviously, but, he's not 30 points per game good yet. Things going to go back to the mean. And I do think at most, again, they're a second round out, which is the biggest problem for this roster consistently. And if that's the case, and they're another second round out, you're really gonna have to ask the question. They don't really have the assets anymore to, unless they use I don't know how many draft picks they have, and unless they're willing to utilize Tyrese Maxey to get a real big superstar, and I don't know if any of those guys are gonna be on the market anyway to get. So it looking like this is just a fast track to a certain guy being out of there very soon.
Joel Embiid.
The problem with that is that I feel like the Heat are gonna do something stupid.
So I with the Sixers, I'm gonna mute you for a second, Romaine. I hear a little echo. For the 76ers, I like, obviously some of the players that they got. I like Covington, I like Morris, I like Batum. Those are three vets that are 3-and-D guys that when you get into the playoffs, they know what to do. Like I said, I was really high that this Clippers signed Kenyon Martin Jr. I thought he could do he's not going to obviously be this incredible player, but I thought he could be like a spark plug in the playoffs, give you like 7 to 11 minutes of pretty good high energy defense, high energy offense, and contribute to some things. It's just with the Sixers, I think everybody can agree this team is a second round at best. And I think that Embiid is going to have to drag them there. Tobias, I've been singing I haven't been singing the praise of Tobias, but I've been saying he can do more than what he has been shown to do in the 76ers because of his role. He can create his own shot. He can average 20 points per game. But like Romaine said, I'm mid is maybe a little harsh, but I get exactly where he's coming from. Maxey, obviously young player. He's going to be taking on a much bigger role. Oh, you're muted, Romaine. He's going to be taking on a much bigger role.
Oh, sorry. I was saying mid in the sense that he's just not enough to put them over the edge at all.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. And Maxey, it's just he's going to be taking on a bigger role now. So we're going to see if he can produce at that. He's how old's Tyrese Maxey now? Mr. Maxey is 22 years old. He'll be 23 actually.
23.
He'll be 23 on the 4th of November. So four days away from his birthday. Happy early birthday, Mr. Tyrese Maxey. So we'll see how the 76. I feel like it's kind of the inevitable is kind of there. Like we all kind of see where the outcome is, because if you look out on the horizon, you're like, all right, who can they go get to entice Embiid to stay, right? And I've named the people off. I've named the Zach LaVines, the Brandon Ingrams. That's basically the best that you are going to get out there, right? And
to go get those guys.
I can't hear you, man.
Oh, I'm saying the problem with that is that what assets do you have to beat any of the team that's gonna go also give an offer for those guys?
100%. Yeah, that and that's the
It's not. Yeah, the problem with them is not the fact that they can't go get guys. The fact that other teams are gonna go for them, and other teams are gonna have better offers to teams that want those guys. And at the end of the day,
you're gonna have to unload a lot. They don't really have a lot.
Yeah, and I know they're not gonna want to unload Tyrese Maxey, and teams are not gonna value Tobias. And a team like the Bulls, if they trade Zach LaVine, they're gonna go tank. And if that's the scenario, they're not gonna want Tobias freaking Harris.
I mean, they could take Tobias. I mean, maybe a three-team trade where Tobias goes to somewhere else. I don't know. But yeah,
but what team values Tobias that much to give up enough that would warrant giving up Zach LaVine to Philadelphia?
I mean, so then that makes the
maybe
point
maybe they can get DeRozan. Maybe they can get DeRozan because he's a little bit less.
DeRozan to the six. I mean, he's better than Tobias, but like at this point, he's not that much better than Tobias Harris.
Yeah, he's a good bit better than Tobias Harris.
He is better, but he's not. This isn't prime DeMar DeRozan anymore. So, and that doesn't push over the edge at all. So, yeah, Zach LaVine doesn't do it anyway. He doesn't move the needle. Brandon Ingram, maybe he's still young as hell. He's 24, I think, too. And he hasn't really, I don't think he's even maybe reached his prime. He hasn't even reached his prime yet. I know that. So maybe he could be a much better player in a couple of years, but I don't know if you're going to be able to get that. I think Brandon Ingram is probably, if the New Orleans Pelicans are smart, they'll try and trade him for just at least something before the deadline, because he's going to walk for nothing at the end of the year. But if they don't, I could easily see Brandon Ingram is going to walk at the end of the year and then pick wherever he wants to go. And that'll be because he hasn't been able to pick where he wanted to go since college. You know, he got drafted by the Lakers, and then the Lakers shipped his ass to New Orleans, and now he actually gets to choose where he wants to go at the end of the year. But yeah, for the Sixers, second round at best, and I feel like the inevitable is on the horizon of Joel Embiid saying,
"See you later."
I can't do this anymore. And then to Romaine's point of Miami doing something, stupid in his eyes, I could see us trading for an Embiid. Would I be in favor of it? Not very much,
because we're going to have to trade Bam for it.
Exactly. We're going to have to give up Bam Adebayo, and that's going to be a tough one. Pat Riley values Bam to the highest, so I don't know.
But he also loves his superstars.
He does. So that'll be an interesting. I know. Yeah, that'll be an interesting call. I don't know where Embiid goes if he requests a trade.
If Tyler, go and average like 27 from me real fast. Go average like a good 12, 4 and 4 from me real fast. Bring up your trade value so when Embiid asks, bro, we can pair them together and not have to give up Bam. Because if it was giving up anybody but Bam and Jimmy for Embiid, I'll be all for it. I'll be all for it.
Yeah, obviously, because then you could put Bam at the 4, and you finally got your 5.
Yeah,
and guess what? Let's finally see that Embiid Jokic NBA Finals matchup, baby. Yeah. Let's see you move that big ass around. Fucking Joel Embiid, almost 350 pounds.
What? I don't want to see that matchup because he's gonna lose that matchup.
Not if he's on the Miami Heat.
Okay, look, I have the utmost confidence in us too, but not that much confidence.
I'm looking at the lay of the land of where Embiid would go, right? Like I'm looking
probably the Knicks.
Yeah, but the Knicks are
Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, McBride. They have enough young guys that have all their picks plus other teams' picks. They have the All NBA guy they can give to facilitate the salary. Also,
but
it's a match made in heaven. I'm not gonna lie to you. And then you have Donovan Mitchell wants to go there too, so you're still gonna have.
So are you saying that all 3 could go there?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought he was
Embiid gets traded there. Jalen Brunson stays, and Donovan Mitchell comes in
the offseason. Because that's where I'm going with that. Is I know Donovan Mitchell is going to the Knicks at the end of the season. Like I'm
pretty sure the Knicks have one max slot, and by trading Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickly, you're you're gonna have even more cap space because I'm pretty sure they all make more than Embiid combined make more than Embiid. So you're gonna
Wait, Romaine, let's stop putting out great ideas for the New York Knicks, man.
this has been the but this has been this has been the Knicks. I'll say one thing about the Knicks.
It's been their plan for the past 15 years, though. It's finally gonna come to fruition.
They suck. The Knicks as a team right now with Julius Randle at the helm, they freaking suck. They're gonna win their 47 games. They're gonna be a mid-seed.
They're just a good team. They're not anything better.
They're a good team that's not gonna be able to do anything. But they've put themselves in a situation where they have enough guys that are on decent contracts that when you put them together, they're enough for a superstar. You still have a max slot to use to pay somebody, and you also have all your draft picks and other teams' draft picks at the same time to pair together to go get any big superstar that asses out. This is what they've been working for. They put themselves in a great situation, especially by locking up Jalen Brunson. This is what they've been waiting for. The problem with this, though, is that does Jalen Brunson and Embiid move me that much, especially when you get rid of a lot of probably the depth on the roster?
Yeah, but we just said it wouldn't be just Brunson and Embiid. It'd be
that's the thing. You bring Donovan Mitchell here too.
Big three moves you. That's the best big three in
the East, to be honest. Jason Tatum, Kristaps.
No, they're better than them. They're better than them. They're better than them. They're better than them. Sorry. Embiid's better than Tatum. Mitchell.
Mitch is better than Jaylen Brown. And Jalen Brunson and Kristaps. Wallahi.
And I trust Brunson in the playoffs more because I've seen him just what he did against us, and he gained mad respect from me. So yeah, Knicks fans, get excited, guys. Get excited. This is exciting time for you. I mean, fuck you guys because that sucks. But I mean, get excited. You're gonna get Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. I've been telling the Knicks fans this for the past couple months, and some of them don't even want to hear it from me. And I'm like, why are you not just accepting this good news? Like, this is just good news. Like, you're getting Donovan Mitchell the offseason for nothing because he wants to come there. And now you're saying
first time any superstars ever wanted to come there for some reason, other than Melo.
Since Melo,
Melo.
And
Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, and you're not going to have to trade anything for Donovan Mitchell, and then you can possibly get Joel Embiid there. I mean, that big three of Brunson, you got your point guard, you got your shooting guard in Donovan Mitchell, and you got your anchor down low in Joel Embiid. That's a freaking great. And I don't know if you think Tibbs would be the head coach? You think they stick with Tibbs?
No, not with Embiid there. You can't run Embiid into the ground like the way Tibbs likes to.
Yeah, they might kick him out the door. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, if the Los Angeles Clippers blow up, Ty Lue will probably be looking for a new job. That could be a great place for Ty Lue to go there. But damn. I mean, that sucks because the Knicks are possibly going to be the best team in the East maybe next year if they actually pull this move off. But knowing James Dolan, he might fumble the bag.
The landscape keeps shifting.
Huh? Oh,
the landscape keeps shifting.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, we know James Dolan, though, is notorious for fumbling the bag. He is basically the Jerry Jones of the NBA. And I wanted to comment. I'm trying to pull up my damn.
What's even worse is there's going to be conversation where Joel Embiid asks for a trade. The Miami Heat are in lead conversation. Our fans are going to get all excited, and then we're not going to offer Bam. We're going to offer Bam. The Knicks are going to give a better offer with way more picks, or we're not going to want to give up Bam. And people are going to be like, "Oh my God, the Heat front office sucks." And then we're going to realize
you guys can't get deal done.
You guys can't make a freaking trade. Not freaking realizing that one, the Knicks offer just is going to be flat out better than ours. And two,
that one I'm not competing with.
And two, Jimmy Butler and Embiid with this Heat team, especially if you have to give up Bam, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good enough to beat.
I mean, to even match the Knicks offer, you have to give up Bam and Tyler Hero and
do you
to try and match that offer of what the Knicks
give up? Well, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Julius Randle.
And a bunch of picks. Because our picks aren't really that good. They have some picks that are probably good. I don't know which ones they've got, but I know they've got some good picks.
Especially and Julius Randle. If the Sixers can go in a full, you have two young guys now in both Emmanuel Quickley. Your point guard now you can have Tyrese Maxey as a permanent shooter. And IQ is a great defender. RJ Barrett's a good wing, okay wing defender, and been getting better as a scorer as time's gone. He's in a space where he can finally flourish. And the Sixers can use Julius Randle in his contract, move him, try to either get more picks or find. Yes, no, you do not keep him on that team. Do not keep him. Do not keep him there.
No, you do.
But you can use him to facilitate your future, or just hit the reset button. This process stuff, you've given it too long, it's done. And I just see the writing on the wall and I hate it. But it is what it is.
It honestly actually even goes into the football side of things. The trade deadline was today, and Washington were big sellers. The Commanders, they traded Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And James Harden just got moved. And actually, the owner of both those teams, I'm pretty sure I'm correct on this, is the same guy. The Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia 76ers, or somebody in there. I don't know if it's the owners or somebody's in there. And made a Joe Harris. Is it Joe Harris? Is that the name that's popping into my head? Joe Harris? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. But I did see something that they are somehow connected and they're making moves. So basically signs are pointing to an inevitability of Joel Embiid being moved. And that sucks for Philadelphia fans because they waited all that time to trust the process. They got Markelle Fultz. They got Ben Simmons. They got Joel Embiid. They had actually arguably one of the best starting five. They had arguably one of the best starting fives at one point in NBA with
Jimmy, Ben Simmons, Jimmy, JJ Redick,
Tobias, and Joel Embiid. I mean, that starting five competed with anybody, and they couldn't get the job done. And then everything
you lost in 7 to the eventual NBA champions. Yep. I'm sorry.
And then everything fell apart after that, and now it looks like you're gonna have to trust another process. And fuck,
no more process stuff. Kill that.
Just stop the process. Just be an 8th seed in the Eastern Conference with that team. Which
not even the 8th seed. Miss the playoffs.
Now with that team they'll probably be the 8th seed in the East. The East is weak. They can be the 8th seed. I do want to comment on this though.
You think a team of Emmanuel Quickley, Tyrese Maxey, and RJ Barrett is going to be a playoff team in the East?
I said like 8th, yeah.
No,
they could win a play-in game. Fuck is the 8th seed? You got the freaking oh man, dude. Like, let's not act like the Orlando Magic and the Indiana Pacers are world beaters. All right.
Okay.
Like yes. Will the Pacers walk onto the court with the best players? Sure, but let's not act like they're world beaters. All right, Romaine.
We're not saying they're world beaters. We're just saying they're gonna beat a 76ers team with Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett. That's not being a world beater. That's being a good team.
Now I want to discuss this though. The play-in and in-season tournament. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of it. Don't like it at all. Not one bit.
I haven't even looked into it too much because I don't care.
I just hate both of them. I hate both of them. I hate the play-in. I hate the in-season tournament. And
oh no, I love the play-in. I love the play-in.
I think the play-in is stupid. Because I think it's just so dumb. Because all right, so we Romaine, we're on the same basketball team. We're competing for 82 games throughout a season. Fighting our asses off, right? Competing for a spot. And now you're telling me at the end of the season, we just bust our off for 82 games, I should say. We have a better record than this team behind us. And now we have to play them in a 1-game single elimination, which the NBA has never been. It's always been a 7-game series. And now we have to win
the game.
Whoa, win the game. I just played 82 fucking games. And
if you're 7th and an 8th seed, it's not a 1-game thing. You have 2 chances, my nigga. You better win one of them freaking games.
I don't care. Nope. I don't want to hear.
No. Well, you should have done. You should have done 1 more games.
Hey,
be a 6th seed.
Hold on.
We had the same problem. It was our freaking fault that shit happened.
Yeah, I know, and I understand that. But wait, I can say the same thing about the damn 9 and 10 seed. Why are we giving opportunities to teams that didn't take advantage of any opportunity? Now we're just giving it to the 9 and 10. Really? There's only 30 teams in the NBA. We're giving 9 and 10 seeds opportunities now. Come on.
Yes.
I don't like it. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb.
I think it's also great. I think it's great because a lot of them, those 9 and 10 seeds, or even those 8 seeds, are really young teams. And people don't even get to see them on national TV. But just listen to me. A lot of those young teams that people don't get to watch a lot. People don't know about the Orlando Magic like that. People don't know about the Indiana Pacers like that. People don't know about the Detroit Pistons. People didn't know about the OKC Thunder last year like that. Mm-hmm. And you give those teams opportunities on national TV to show what they're made of.
Yeah.
They get better, and they get experience in a playoff-like atmosphere. Let's say they win those games. Yeah. A young team gets to be on prime stage and get those reps. I don't see how this is a bad thing. Yeah, I really don't.
You know what they get to see, Romaine? You know what they get to
those
see?
Vets that are the 7th and 8th seeds that should have won more games.
Yeah.
Boo hoo! You've been here for a while. Win more freaking games.
You know what they're gonna see, Romaine. You say they get to see people get to see them exposure. So you know they get to see those young teams get their ass absolutely handed to them because that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna have to go up against the damn number 1 seed. They're gonna get their asses handed to
Every single
them.
young team that we every single young team we've seen in those situations will come back the next season on timing. Literally, the Memphis Grizzlies in the play-in beats Golden State, gets there. Ja Morant and Dylan Brooks go absolutely freaking brazy on the Utah Jazz. They lose the series, but guess what? That experience helps them be the 2nd seed the next season.
Was it the experience?
Yes!
I don't know about that.
People were saying Ja was the same player from his first year to the second year because the numbers are exactly the same. He's playing effect on the court, impact, all of that was the same. You know what the difference was? When he got in that playoffs, he showed that he was built for this. And then the next season, he was built for this for the entire season.
Yeah. Was Dylan Brooks built for this? How do you look against Steph Curry?
Yes! Y'all acting like he's not one of the better defenders in the game. Oh my! Y'all just love clowning that man for no reason.
Wait. I clowned him. No, I'm talking about how did he look at Steph Curry yesterday? You saw the clip.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Steph shot 2 for 8 against him. 2 for 8. No, 1 for 8. And he got away with a carry on play 1, and he shot 2 for 8 against him. You saw the only shot he made. You saw the only 3 he was able to make on Dylan Brooks, and then he went crazy, and everybody went with that narrative. Dylan Brooks did a great job of guarding him.
All I know is I saw this.
Y'all just love to clown that man for. I get he does the bullshit, but at the end, y'all gotta stop. Look at that. Look at this. The Pelicans last season, or the season before that, we all got to see Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum go crazy and nearly beat the Phoenix Suns. And while Zion was healthy next season, they're the 4th seed. The only thing that stopped them from being one of the top teams in the league is health. Every single time we see a young team in the play-in that gets that experience, they come back the next year looking fantastic.
So we should expect
the Timberwolves to look great this year.
Okay.
The Timberwolves and the OKC Thunder look great this year. And so far, they both look pretty good.
Yeah, we'll see. But we're dancing around the issue, though, at the end of the day. The in-season tournament, the play-in tournament, it's all designed to get people to care about the regular season more, which they are failing to do. So, Romaine, again, my argument is and always will be this. You're putting a Band-Aid over a open 12-inch knife wound from Michael frickin' Myers, man. All right? It's not working. You can try this pixie dust, the smoke and mirrors and all that stuff. The crux of the issue, and we all know what the NBA actually has to do to get people to give a fuck and give a shit about the NBA regular season. We all know what it is. We all know. They don't want to admit it. We all know it's you have to shorten the season. But what does that mean? That means they have to give up a lot more money. They're going to make less money. The players are going to make less money. Everybody's going to be making less money. But guess what? People are going to actually give more crap about your product during the regular season. You want to know why the NFL is king? Because there's only 17 games the regular season. Every game counts. That's the real crux of this whole issue where the NBA is trying smoke and mirrors over here, smoke and mirrors over here. Look at this play-in tournament. Look at this play-in tournament. Look at our in-season tournament. Look at our cool courts. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. Instead of, no, we have to actually shorten the season. But maybe we'll get to that at one point, hopefully, because 82 games is ridiculously long. It's unnecessarily long, actually, in my opinion. But that is going to wrap up episode 138 of the Wise Guys podcast. I have been your host, Brandon Capozziello. That was Romaine Davis, FLB. And if you stayed until the very end, please give us a thumbs up. Like the video. Subscribe, please. Subscribe. No 666. We got to stop that. I don't even like saying it. So please just hit the damn subscribe button, please. Thank you. Share the content with your friends and family. Comment along with us and tell us your thoughts and opinions on what we talked about. If the Embiid inspired it to the Knicks, huh? Clips, are they championship bound now? What's going on with the Sixers? Tell us your opinion. Tell me how Brandon is right about the tournaments and how they're.
You're 667 now.
And what happened?
You're 667 now. 667.
Thank you, people. Nice people out there, man. There's good people out there. All right. Comment along with us and tell us your thoughts and opinions. And follow us all on our social medias. Links are in the description. Go subscribe to Romaine channel. FLB links are in the description. And until next time, I'm going to steal a line from my guy, God First.